What's up, everybody? It's yours truly, Mr. Marvel, here on this week's edition of the Marvel Roundtable. We are continuing into Phase 4 and exploring the multiverse by asking a very age-old question that, of course, has been seen in Marvel Comics before as we explore pivotal moments and pivotal stories of pivotal characters so far in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we ask the question, what if? And we also ask, what if this was a decent show? As we break down What If Season 1 right here on the Marvel Roundtable. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Marvel Roundtable right here on the Horny Goat YouTube channel and, of course, the Horny Goat Podcasting Network, where you can listen to us on your favorite podcasting platforms. Of course, this is the Marvel Roundtable, where myself and the wonderful cohorts of the Horny Goat crew break down each and every single movie and Disney Plus show in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You guys know me. I am Conor, a.k.a. Mr. Marvel 613, and, of course, I am not alone. I am dragging my friends through the depths of hell that is the MCU. And, of course, I got with me the tattooed mama herself, Heather.
How you doing, guys?
Sound so excited to be talking about this there, don't you know? How many days are we till Halloween, till spooky season?
69.
Yes, the perfect number. And, of course, we've got the number one fan of the What If series. We've got everyone's favorite bear from upstairs, Canadian Basement. What up, Basement?
What if?
What if I enjoyed this?
What if I loved every episode, and this whole time I've been lying to you when I was saying it might be shit? What if?
I have a feeling. I have a feeling your profile picture is fairly accurate on your thoughts. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. Maybe it's spoilers ahead, but we'll have to talk about it in a second. But yes, we are talking about the first animated piece of something, an animated movie or show that is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that is canon apparently to the MCU, which is What If. This is the first season. There has been confirmations from San Diego Comic-Con this past couple of weekends ago that there will be a second season, but this is kind of a playoff of the Marvel What If comics. Now, this one's really different for obvious reasons because for the most part, I say most part, we'll get to it, the episodes are kind of individually serialized. They're on their own. They're not canonically tied in, except for the end, which we'll get to in a minute. So when they announced this, I was actually kind of looking forward to it. It's like, okay, cool. It's a fun little, fun little thing where we can explore and just have a little bit of fun playing around with characters, or like some like, oh, that'd be cool if this happened, or maybe other references in the comics to other things that we haven't seen in the MCU. But I will be very honest with everybody. This show frustrates the fuck out of me. I can't say it like I hate it, but it is extremely. If you
Some kids play in the sandbox.
Yeah.
Dude, whoever fucking wrote this played in a fucking bucket of shit.
They ate all the paint chips and ate all the glue.
The sandbox was filled with cat poop.
There's what if means you can go down so many interesting paths. Why pick the most boring fucking paths of everything?
Well, there are some things that are sort of redeemable about this. I say sort of, but I will be
There's
honest.
A couple parts that I will agree with you on.
But
visually.
it's like the pre-rendering to Arcane.
Yeah.
The environments and the lighting and stuff look amazing. I just do not like the character models.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I was in the same boat. Of course, we want to hear from your guys' thoughts as well. We did throw a poll up in the chat here on YouTube. What'd you think of What If? Giving it a thumbs up or thumbs down. This is probably the one that I'm most curious about because this is very divisive in terms of fandom. A lot of people, not that I've known anybody who is like hardcore loving the What If series, but some people do like some of the concepts and ideas of What If, and other people like myself and Basement and I, possibly Heather, have strong feelings towards this. Basement's face drooping as we speak in the chat. Yeah, it's gonna get there. Thanks to, of course, everybody who's joining us in the chat here. We've got Cody, we got Tim, Alpha, Jurg, and Muyen. Thank you all for tuning in. Apologies we weren't on the night before, but we needed an extra day to brace ourselves for what the show is. So,
honestly, you should have gone with your original thought of just skipping this entirely and going straight to Black Widow. But
I did initially think to skip this one, and the thing is that I guess that's where I'm going to start with. So when I came up with the idea of doing the roundtable, I obviously had to kind of like sift through some things and figure out like what we were going to watch and what we weren't going to watch, and honestly, the obvious concept was pretty straightforward. We're going to watch anything that is in the canonical tie of the MCU. Now, supposedly, this is canon to the MCU. However, as of this recording, the latest installment of Phase 4 is She-Hulk. So far, nothing that we have seen in What If has tied into anything major as far as the MCU. So realistically, you could skip it if you wanted to. Does this mean that other things of What If could be tied in later? Who knows? But as of right now, you could skip this because there's really not anything. If anything, probably better to skip this, to be very honest with you. But if you
watch it, you sons of bitches. Fucking take it in the vein.
I think most of the people in the chat have already watched this and are either in the same boat as us or completely loved it. I mean, the poll right now is completely tied at 50-50.
I can't say I hate it. I cannot say I hate it because that's a bit.
Hate's a strong word.
Hate is a strong word. However,
I'm disappointed in it.
Yeah, I'm not just. I'm a parent. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. And that hurts so much more. That hurts so much more. I hated Captain Marvel. I will plant my flag.
I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, that is one of the worst. So far, that is the bottom of the barrel as far as the MCU goes. And yes, I will even say the Eternals are better than Captain Marvel, which we'll get to when we get to it. But
I actually really liked the Eternals, so
I somehow have to watch. I'm gonna fucking watch that movie, Captain Marvel. I have to do it just to complete this journey.
God bless. God bless.
I fell asleep twice in the first 30 minutes of the movie. I actually fell asleep watching this shit too.
So, what if I stayed awake? So, obviously, I think you can kind of get. Normally, I ask what are our overall thoughts of the series, but
it's not like the other show, and it's not like the movie so far because a lot of the things are just standalone. We'll say that with quotations. So, like, you almost have to judge it completely episode by episode. And I think that's where we're gonna go with this because as a whole, this is why I can't really say I hate it as a whole. Because there are a couple episodes that are redeemable.
Yep.
But the bad, for me, way outweighs the good. And I'm going to have to be critical with Marvel. I'm sorry, you fucking put out so many good things and you decide to put out as much as you do. There's no more, oh man, well maybe they want to they just have a fun little break. A fun little break is not making something. If you're going to put out content, put out good content or get burned like everybody else.
I mean,
that's it. My rant.
I mean, Heather, give us a quick,
For the most part, I was not entertained by 90% of the episodes. I mean, the Doctor Strange episode was good to me, but again, it was only good. It wasn't great. Therefore, It doesn't redeem the whole fucking thing for me.
Right. Yep.
One episode can't redeem the whole show. Like, it's impossible.
Here's where things get again a little screwy. In case people are wondering, and I only bring this up right now because the timeline's a fucking mess. Again, going back to what the originally announced Phase 4 lineup was. This was actually supposed to take place. You ready for this? Not too different. It was supposed to take place after WandaVision and after Loki, but Doctor Strange was supposed to be right in the middle. So it was supposed to be WandaVision, then Doctor Strange, Loki, and then What If right after it.
It fits the same, I guess, narrative. They're all in the same vein.
Yeah.
So I get that, but again, it's like too much. You want to have like straight shooter, weird straight shooter. Like you don't want to fucking be weird as fuck for a whole year.
That's what Marvel was. That's what Marvel was. Think about this too. This is also the year that Marvel put out the most content. You know, I mean, which should be expected because they're also doing the Disney Plus stuff. But we went from at most Marvel doing.
For you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know it's the year they put out a lot of content, but do you think it has a lot to do with like the COVID-19 pause and stuff, and they were just like, we have all this shit, we need to fucking blow our load.
Yes.
So I don't think we're expecting this level of content moving forward.
No, because so think of it this way, right? In 2021, we got the following: WandaVision, Falcon and Winter. WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Hawkeye, and Spider-Man. We got 9 fucking Marvel projects. 9. Granted, 5 of them were shows. 4 of them were movies. And mind you, Black Widow was the first one that came out like in fucking like May or July. So it was really like the last half of 2021. They were really like shoving it down our throats. And then in 2022, Marvel has definitely spread things out more. 2022, we've gotten Moon Knight, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Miss Marvel, Thor: Love and Thunder, She-Hulk, and then we're ending things off with Black Panther, which I think is a far better balance of 3 movies and 3 shows. Where Phase 5 is going to fall with that, I don't know. But I 100% agree that it's because there was no Marvel content whatsoever in 2020. And I think it's also a reason why they kind of rearranged a lot of shit, too.
Well, honestly, they should have came out with Black Widow before fucking Endgame.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
but
they
Black
should
Widow
have.
They dropped the ball on that massively. Should have been out way before even fucking Infinity War, I think, in my mind.
Which we'll get to Black Widow, which is actually going to be the next installment of the Marvel Roundtable when we get back here. But we'll definitely get into it. But the only reason I bring it up, and the only reason I bring up where the placements are of these movies and these shows in the original planned Phase 4, especially when we get a little bit further down the road, is that some of them do make me question and scratch my head as far as what would have been different from a fucking. What would have been different for the writing in terms of some of those shows and movies? Specifically, I would love to have known like what would have changed. What changed with Doctor Strange? I think that's the biggest one because it was supposed to be in the middle of everything, not much further down the road than we expected it to be. And I think that's actually the big one. It's just mainly just Doctor Strange and maybe Shang-Chi and a couple of others. But we'll get to those when we get to those. But let's talk about What If. There really isn't too much as far as the pre-production stuff other than the idea of, once again, Marvel really wanting to flush out these Disney Plus original content series that would tie into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They had discussed adapting the What If comics in the past, but decided not to do so until, of course, after the conclusion of the Infinity Saga, so they would have enough storylines to create alternate options of. Making the series animated allowed the studio to explore all these ideas unbounded. The studio said it wasn't a coincidence that the series was set to release so soon after the first season finale of Loki, which of course introduced the multiverse, since What If explores facets of the multiverse in a way that they believed made the series more important, or as important as any other MCU projects. The studios confirmed that all the episodes of the series are canon to the MCU multiverse, with most of the episodes taking place in their own universe. Since work began on What If before the development of Loki and Doctor Strange, the company was unsure how the projects would be exploring and explaining the MCU version of the multiverse. They chose to focus on possibilities within the alternate timelines of the multiverse, which he described as a sampler of assorted chocolates, and left elements such as the TVA to be explained by those other projects, and of course kept the creative teams of Loki and Doctor Strange informed of what was happening in those What If projects as work began. So they were just kind of fucking doing whatever. Basically, which it shows, and I don't mind it too much, except for the fucking ending.
I did.
And they're a multi-million-dollar company, and yet they have to spitball ideas at us and question our intelligence.
It's It's the core problem with this entire series for me is how stupid it is. I like it. Like, they just go with the least attractive options 90% of the time because I think they're scared to actually explore something worthwhile in case they want to explore it in the actual fucking live action verse. It's just so fucking like it's like a wet shit.
I mean, if you didn't tell me it was canon, I'd be fine. I honestly would take it a little bit more like not giving a shit.
That's the core problem. As soon as they consider it part of the actual lore of everything, and they don't put the effort in.
Yep.
And
By
I'm
the
not
way,
talking about the visual effects people. They fucking did a great job for the most part. Like visually, a lot of this fucking thing is stunning. Especially as we go on in the season towards the end, visually it looks very good. It's like a fucking supermodel that never interacted with somebody.
you're not wrong. Now, the couple things I wanted to know before we start getting into it with the episodes, and I do agree with Basement in terms of we kind of need to, which we were planning on doing anyway, in like terms of analyzing them on its own. Did anybody else notice that Tony Stark got fucking shafted in every fucking episode?
Yep. I fucking loved it.
Oh, it was great. Like, he's either dead or fucking... I love how in the last one he's like, not you, Stark. Like, no, he's just fuck him in this entire show.
He's killed the past.
Yeah, just so good. But anyway, let's break it down. Let's get into episode 1, which is What If Captain Carter Were the First Avenger? So during World War II, Steve Rogers is chosen to become the world's first super soldier by receiving the super soldier serum developed by Dr. Abram Erskine. When Erskine asks Strategic Scientific Reserve agent Peggy Carter wants to watch the procedure from a safe distance, she chooses to stay in the room. Can I just say, too, that, like, I feel like they, like, hinge this first episode on one decision, one alteration will change the course of history. And then they just like, oh yeah, this shit happened.
Exact same fucking movie.
Well, no. Okay, so let me back up here. First and foremost, the entire series is narrated by Watu the Watcher, who is a godlike being who is able to observe different multiverses and different worlds. Is canon with the comics, and is basically
12 foot tall Gandhi.
Basically, weird baby man. But no, and I guess we might as well let's get this out of the way first before we go further in the episodes. Some of the shot-for-shot remakes I do think are impressive in terms of like them actually taking the time to detail some of the parts and certain scenes of certain episodes where like
Understand why?
Well, they want to try.
In this one
filler.
Specifically, this one infuriated me.
But this one in particular, I point out because it's like he's supposedly telling us like, oh, that's the point in time where things changed, and I feel like that's the only episode where like one pivotal part.
Because the next one opens up completely different from that.
Oh, they're all different. But I mean, maybe
Well,
it's just me.
what do you mean? Like the other one has a pivotal moment. The next one.
No, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. There are a few more, but I feel like he just puts a little bit more focus on this one than the other. It's like right there. That's the point. I don't know. Maybe
this is the worst one. They shouldn't have started with this episode. I'm gonna say, but like I go through the synopsis because I have things to say.
But also, just gonna go back on what Basement said as far as the animation itself. I think that I agree with you in terms of saying that like I think some of the scenery and the imagery in the background, and it's also funny that certain fight scenes look good. I don't know why, but like I noticed when like they did a lot of the hand-to-hand combat stuff, specifically the Watcher versus Ultron. I don't know why. I really like that fight. I'll get there when we get there.
The action does look good. I'll give you that. It's just the standalone character models and the faces.
Yeah.
The fucking faces are just unremarkable.
To see it like that. Which is
Especially
weird.
Steve
It's not
Rogers
all of
with
them.
fucking
It's not all of them either. That's the weird part. The zombies looked fucking great, in my opinion.
It's the regular faces.
It's
that are terrible.
It's so weird. But maybe
I hate the way Thor looks. It took me out of it the entire fucking time.
Yeah, especially when he screams later on. We'll get to that. I mean,
you know what he looks like? He looks like when Beauty and the Beast, when the Beast turns back into a man.
Yeah,
That's exactly it. It's like, what the fuck? I prefer him as the Beast.
That's exactly it. But I mean, before we go to the synopsis, I mean, Heather, are you on the same page with us as far as like the animation stuff or like any of that stuff we mentioned?
The animation, for this episode specifically, the speed of the speech.
Oh my god, that is the worst fucking. It's a run-on sentence.
It is.
Speed of the speech.
Like, okay, so in the beginning,
they're talking in their parts. It's like they were put on fast
forward. Yeah. Well,
yeah, everybody talks like a mile a minute, and there's no actual breath in between. So it just sounds like word garbage flying out.
Someone put the YouTube playback on 1.75 speed accidentally.
It's like, we got to get through this in 37 minutes or whatever.
Which,
I'm like, do we?
Yeah. I mean that kind of yeah, we do. Hey, do you want to drag? Do you want to drag on further?
Everybody watching this has seen the fucking first Captain America movie. Do we need to hit every single fucking second of every plot point?
No, we don't.
Give something some time to breathe. This is like the worst fucking directed piece of shit. This episode, whoever directed it, I hope never directs anything else or learns from their mistakes. Because oh my god, it's if I stopped talking, you talked immediately, and then Heather talked immediately, and there was never a time for anybody to breathe, that would be this. Except they're telling you a story you already know. And literally, it's like, oh, what's the difference? Well, Captain America's a woman. It's Captain America with tits. Dance, dance, dance. She's a woman. Dance, dance, dance. She's a woman.
Well, let me get through the whole thing. So, as Erskine inventor Howard Stark prepared to put Rogers through the procedure, Heinz Kruger, a spy from Nazi science division Hydra, becomes nervous due to Carter's presence and attacks the lab before the transfusion can begin and attempts to steal the serum. He kills both Erskine and Chester Phillips and shoots Rogers before Carter kills Kruger. With limited time to complete the procedure, Carter volunteers to take the serum. She's successfully enhanced, but new SSR leader John Flynn refuses to allow her to join the war because she is a woman. Revealing in a flashback sequence in Norway, Hydra's leader Johann Schmidt / the Red Skull obtains the Tesseract, a powerful artifact that can manipulate space, which with he plans to win the war. Flynn refuses to send anyone to stop Schmidt, but Stark secretly gives Carter a costume and a shield made of vibranium, which he uses to attack a Hydra convoy and successfully retrieve both the Tesseract and Hydra scientist Arnim Zola. After the success, Flynn promotes Carter to combat role and she becomes Captain Carter. Carter and Rogers rescue Rogers' friend Bucky Barnes when he is captured by Hydra forces, with Rogers piloting a weaponized and armored Hydra Stomper suit that Stark built with the Tesseract. Carter and Rogers go on a fight in numerous battles with Barnes and the Howling Commandos until Rogers goes missing, presumed dead during an attack on a Hydra train. Carter and allies infiltrate Schmidt's castle after she obtains its location from Zola and finds Rogers alive. Schmidt, intending for Hydra to continue in Nazi Germany's place after its collapse, uses the Tesseract to open a portal and summon an interdimensional creature, which quickly kills him. Carter and Rogers battle the creature until the Hydra Stomper runs out of power, and as Stark closes the portal, Carter sacrifices herself by entering it while pushing the creature back into it. However, almost 70 years later, the Tesseract opens another portal, which Carter emerges from, meeting the present-day Nick Fury and Clint Barton. So, first and foremost, I think this is one of the only episodes that has about 95% of the original actors coming back to voice their same roles, with the exception of, I believe, 2 people. Everybody is voiced by their original actor from the movie in this case. The only 2 being Steve Rogers and Johann Schmidt / the Red Skull.
About the voice acting in general. This show is so unbelievably inconsistent with quality in terms of voice acting, and I actually feel like
you said exactly what I was about to say. Yep.
The actors that came back to reprise their role don't necessarily. There's a difference between acting and voice acting, and a lot of actors learn to act with their physical body. And kind of miss some of the beats that are required to be a convincing voice actor. And my God, does it show in this episode?
This
have you seen the behind the scenes of Johnny Depp doing the voice recording and acting for Ringo?
No.
They literally have him on a soundstage so he can bodily act out what he is saying so that he can get the voice right. Why couldn't they do that for these people?
And I also feel like he probably did. He probably did like the the animations he did. I don't know. This might not be. I haven't seen Ringo, but like, is he animating? Are they using his animation, like his body animations, to sell the point in the movie?
Some of them, yes. I mean, of course, it had to be changed because as Ringo, he's a gecko. So some things
Yeah.
had to be changed from human form to lizard form, but they
I,
did.
I
They tried their best. Yes.
I would strongly believe in this. They're in a sound booth, and the only thing they use is like direction of. They probably give them the direction of what their character is doing, but they only really source their voice and not necessarily their mannerisms.
Yes, and
That's my
that hurt.
guess.
That really hurts an animation, in my opinion, to
I
not
agree.
capture the emotion of the actor itself
Yep.
in the animation, so you get more of a feel for it and make it feel more real, in a sense. But it also
Every,
comes down to the point that you're literally rethrowing the entire Captain America movie at us
which we don't want.
at damn near hyperdrive speeds to get the whole thing in to fit this first episode.
Like everybody's delivery is very flat because I think a lot of them were acting with the way they know how to act and not
They were they were
vocally.
reading off of a paper and just reading off of a paper. That's it.
One thing I had to say, like with this episode specifically, and this is the one that like this is why I said they shouldn't have started with this one because I think this is one of the worst episodes of this entire show.
Yeah, actually.
First of all, if you're gonna do a what if is supposed to be like at this moment in time things change and explore something that's more interesting. Why are you hitting the story beats beat for beat for beat with just a gender swap? It doesn't make sense. It's the boringest fucking thing you could do with that.
You basically said exactly what my major complaint was about this episode is that the fact that like most of the other episodes that we'll get to, the change has such a divergence from what it was supposed to be or what was supposed to happen that's what makes it intriguing, is that you start on one path and you veer so far left or so far right. It's like, holy shit, this could have really changed drastically. There's one obviously episode in particular, I think we're all going to agree it's probably the best one, that it's refreshing. This is essentially cut, remove, paste.
Yes.
And that's
recycled
it.
It's recycled in a bad way. It's so much worse than Captain America first. It's so much worse than the first Captain America.
Yeah, I did not like this episode either. I think the main reason they wanted to start with this episode is because they wanted Captain Carter to be like the mascot for the series, because it's already been mentioned that she Basin's gonna be happy about this one. They are going to continue with her story and that specific character, Captain Carter, in the first episode of the second season of What If.
The thing is, I wish, it would have worked. She's the exact same character as Captain America. Like, we got in Captain America, we get the backstory for why he's like the smaller guy. She's there's nothing. She is just like she works for the government and she's beautiful. So she turns into super strong. There's no growth of character. She just starts as Captain. She just starts that way. She doesn't have to go through any hardships. She's just the perfect person. Okay. And then she gets perfecter by getting the...
Perfecter?
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck?
I was perfect, Cell. Now I'm perfecter, Cell.
I get it. They want to have... They should have given her nuance if they want to continue down that path of her being the poster boy for this franchise. Because now she could be replaced by a fucking block of wood with a shield attached to it.
I'm right there with you. Just a copy and paste. But Heather, anything else on this episode? Because I don't really want...
Honestly, with what you said about them continuing with her in season 2, I swear to God, if they try and give her a Winter Soldier story, I'm not watching it.
Well,
that's gonna happen because
we'll get there.
Why did Iron Man show up in this episode in the 1940s? Because he got the Tesseract, he can make an Iron Man suit in the 40s.
Yep.
See, there, things that don't make sense. Number one, that this show is gonna go crazy with later on.
Well, because they get because the allies get a hold of the Tesseract beforehand because Captain Carter gets involved sooner.
But like, it makes sense for Tony Stark to come up with the Iron Man suit in desperation because that's all he has, and he runs with it. But then to create it, like, it's just we want an Iron Man suit. How are we gonna do that? Tesseract.
On top of that, there are things that again, I guess they gotta have to gloss over because of the fact that like limited time frame. But like,
no excuse.
Stark automatically makes the shield out of vibranium again. Like the way that Steve gets the shield in the original movie is that like, he picks it because it's like, oh, that's all the vibranium in the world. That Stark, it's not like Stark was against giving it to him, but it's not like he was advertising it to him. Now Carter just gets it out. I'm nitpicking. It's just
well, no, but like the problem is this episode focuses on the things that are least interesting.
Yeah.
I all of a sudden she's Captain America. That's fine. But then the half this fucking speeded through version of Captain America is the guy that like I guess runs the program, but the overhead boss guy being like, she can't do it, she's a woman. And like they go on with that for so long that it's like that's not a character. That's part of what makes a character, but it's just like and she just keeps proving herself, and he's like, I'm gonna take it. I don't know. It's just that part would have worked if they built more. And also, why not just fucking do 2 episodes? If you can't fit it in one, there's literally no reason.
Going on Disney Plus, make the episode an hour long.
They can do whatever they want with the amount of money they have. So I just don't get, like, this is why there's no real actual excuse for it being as poor as it is, especially the first episode.
Luckily, it's all uphill from here.
Almost.
It's there's hills. There's peaks and valleys. So with that being said, let's shift gears into in my opinion, a much better improvement episode. What if T'Challa became Star-Lord? Episode 2. Now, this is the last project. I forgot to mention ahead of time. This is the last project that is under Marvel Studios that, of course, we get to have the late Chadwick Boseman be a part of anything in Marvel. So, despite that Avengers Endgame was the last physical, real live-action appearance of Chadwick Boseman, what if Season 1 is the last participation from him in anything Marvel? And I'll be honest with you, I agree with Baseman as far as the voice acting. I think he did out of all of them, he was the best one in terms of like the transition.
He's definitely one of the best, if not the best.
Yeah. So in this one, in 1988, the Ravagers are hired by Ego, a Celestial, to receive his son Peter Quill from Earth. Ravager leader Yondu Udanta assigns this task to his underlings, who mistakenly abduct a young T'Challa from Wakanda. 20 years later, T'Challa is a famous galactic pirate and hero known as Star-Lord. He has reformed the Ravagers, who are now inspired by the Earth hero Robin Hood, I can't speak tonight, and has persuaded Thanos to abandon his plan of eliminating half of all life in the universe and become a member of the Ravagers. He also believes that Yondu attempted to return him to Wakanda as a child, but it had been destroyed. While obtaining an orb containing the Power Stone from the planet Morag, T'Challa recruits Korath the Pursuer to join the Ravagers. The Ravagers are approached by Nebula, who proposes a heist to steal one of the Tanelier Tivan / the Collector's artifacts, the Embers of Genesis, cosmic dust capable of terraforming ecosystems and eradicating galactic hunger. At Tivan's headquarters on Nowhere, the Ravagers distract his Black Order henchmen, while Nebula and Yondu offer him the orb, which allows T'Challa to infiltrate Tivan's vast collection of artifacts. He finds a Wakandan spacecraft that was sent in search of him and realizes that Yondu lied about Wakanda. The Ravagers are all captured when Nebula seemingly betrays them to Tivan, but T'Challa decries Tivan's practice of imprisoning others in his collection, which inspires Tivan's assistant Karina to shoot Ebony Maw and free T'Challa. Nebula shoots Corvus Glaive and rescues the rest of the Ravagers, revealing that she and T'Challa had planned a triple cross, which enabled her to acquire the Embers. Nebula and Thanos defeated Cull Obsidian and Proxima Midnight, while T'Challa and Yondu defeat Tivan. Karina frees Tivan Tivan's numerous captives, leaving Tivan at their mercy. T'Challa forgives Yondu for his deception, and they return to Earth so T'Challa can reunite with his family in Wakanda. Elsewhere on Earth, an older Peter Quill is now working as a Dairy Queen janitor when he is approached by his father, Ego. This was a huge improvement over the first episode.
Oh yeah.
This was fun.
I'm still not. It's okay, but like it glosses over so much. Like again, T'Challa is all of a sudden Jesus Christ superstar.
Well,
at least in like the no in the lore of the MCU up to this point with him, he wasn't. He's not portrayed as the fucking savior of mankind. He has a story arc to get there. This is just he was picked up in space. Now he's the best person alive. So good, in fact, that he turns Thanos away from. It's like it's too much.
Well, you have to, the thing that I appreciated about it is that it's the polar opposite of fucking Peter Quill. And yes, I get where you're coming from, but I think that was the point, is that they wanted to lean on a character that was so anti-Peter Quill Star-Lord, someone who's not selfish, who is willing to help out others, who, you know, is such a savior to an, I guess, dude.
The problem is they took him when he was a kid, before he was any of those things.
Well, you could say that his Wakandan influence was already there, as opposed to Peter's, which wasn't. But I know semantics, and I get where you're coming from.
I mean, okay, so I like that this is like what the show should lean into in terms of what if taking a completely different stance on things.
Yes.
Again, it does do some things that I don't like the Thanos thing, and like I mean, if you're introduced to like this before you see a lot of the other stuff that's way better, it kind of. The first time I saw Thanos, he was a bitch eating or drinking in a bar. It's like, cool. Well, then wait until you see Infinity War, because you're going to love it. So it's just like, you know, like that kind of stuff I'm not a huge fan of, and I don't like what they automatically he's just the fucking greatest person alive. But I do like the idea behind doing a character swap that's completely different. And how they get to it is like, oh, they fucked up the pickup, so they ended up with Wakandan kid. But it's like, it's so like fitting square pegs and circle holes.
There's a lot of plot convenience. There's a lot of plot conveniences, which I get where you're coming from. But for me, this is kind of the shit that I wanted from What If, in terms of like, give me something that's a little extreme. Yeah, there's gonna be there's plot holes in every fucking Marvel movie and every Marvel project. Let's not kid ourselves. We could, hey, shut up. So anyway, but
just like turning a character into something because you need him to be that something to sell this story is it's not good writing.
Yeah. To get to something, just to get to something, I'm not going to disagree with you, but for me, that's not what I was looking to get out of it. I was looking to get out of it of, what if you put this different type of characterization in this environment, and how would it go from there? I wasn't looking at it necessarily as, you know, T'Challa, but T'Challa seemed like a decent enough fit, and the story was
the thing that
loose enough that I could get it, but yeah.
This is following the first episode where they basically did the same thing. Mm-hmm. They just took a character, swapped them with another character, and made them infinitely better for no reason whatsoever.
Well, we also changed the collector for this episode, so there's that difference there. And I did like this one more because of the fact that it didn't open with that line of, you know, well, this right here is why things are different.
True, it did kind of lead into it. It kind of leaned into it a little bit more. But the thing is that did it do a character swap? Yes, but it also created a personality swap too. T'Challa in this episode,
the character never got to earn that personality. It just ended up with the fucking personality of Jesus Christ Superstar.
Okay, but to me that doesn't matter, because to me it's. You're essentially, it would be the same thing as giving not the exact same thing, because Star-Lord has his father as a planet, but you're essentially saying, like, what if Peter Quill wasn't a dick? To an extent. And yeah, it's obviously going polar opposite in the extreme side. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that part, but I guess for me, bigger picture, I didn't mind it because it veered so far away from what it was that I'm like, all right, cool. This is at least different. It might be different shit, but it's at least it's different.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. First of all, it's going to be very difficult to get worse than the first episode. The first episode for me is about a 1 out of 10. This one is a 4, 5.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is still it's better, and the pacing is much better. It's not a mile a minute talking. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, there are obviously better episodes, which we're gonna get to. But I'm just saying, is compared to the first one, it was like a huge jump up, and this is what I wanted from my What If series, or it's something to this effect. This is the kind of stuff I wanted, where it was on its own. There was a radical enough change that you could see things going in a different, it spurs things out a little bit more. But Heather, your thoughts on this episode?
Oh, like I was, this episode is definitely a lot better, and frankly, I wouldn't mind seeing a movie if he were still alive, of T'Challa being Star-Lord versus fucking
everybody, or being part of the Ravagers, yeah.
But I wasn't too keen on the Thanos idea, but I understand that they just wanted to fit him in there somewhere, so why not throw him in with the episode that the Collector's in, where it makes complete sense, because that's where we see him in full body and full voice the first time, clearly, without him being Barney.
Can you believe they actually got James Brolin back for that?
Is
it Josh Brolin or James Brolin? Are there two Brolin?
Wait.
No, there might be two Brolins.
Oh my God. Too many
James
Brolins.
There's a father Brolin too, which might be James Brolin.
Hold on. God damn it.
I think Josh Brolin is the Brolin we're thinking of for Thanos, but there is a James Brolin somewhere.
Now you're making me look. Son of a bitch.
What if Josh Brolin was actually James Brolin playing Josh Brolin?
I'm pretty sure
Josh Brolin is the same Brolin that plays Thanos in the show and in the movies. And Cable.
I think since he got the offer for Deadpool, he's like, I have fun with comic movies. I can do this.
James Brolin is his father.
Yes. God. What if?
Which, holy fuck, he was in everything. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving off topics. So then we move over, I guess, since we're just rolling right along with these, to episode 3. What if the world lost its mightiest heroes? This one I have a soft spot for. I'm not saying it's the best one, but at least there were elements about this episode that I appreciated. I'm not saying every single one of them. So with this one, over the course of a week, S.H.I.E.L.D. director Nick Fury attempts to recruit the heroes for the Avengers Initiative, starting with Tony Stark. Agent Natasha Romanoff gives Stark an injection to alleviate his palladium poisoning we saw in Iron Man 2, but it ends up proving fatal. S.H.I.E.L.D. detains Romanoff, but Fury helps her escape so she can find the killer. Meanwhile, Thor arrives on Earth and attempts to retrieve his hammer Mjolnir, but is accidentally shot and killed by Agent Clint Barton, who later dies in S.H.I.E.L.D. custody. To analyze what killed Stark, Romanoff approaches Dr. Betty Ross, who finds that a microscopic projectile was injected into Stark. Fury deduces that the killer is targeting his list of Avengers Initiative recruits, leaving Romanoff and Bruce Banner as the remaining targets. Romanoff discovers that Ross is hiding Banner just as Ross's father, General Thaddeus Ross, arrives to arrest them. Banner is shot and transforms into the Hulk, attacking General Ross's men before exploding, which, holy shit, that was great. Loki arrives on Earth with Yeah, I know, right? Loki arrives on Earth with Asgard's army to avenge his brother's death, but Fury negotiates a temporary truce so he can identify the killer. Romanoff discovers that someone used a deceased agent's profile to access S.H.I.E.L.D.'s network, as she subsequently is murdered, though she manages to send a message to Fury revealing that the deaths are related to Hope. Fury realizes that Romanoff was referring to Hope Van Dyne, who had died on a mission after Fury recruited her into S.H.I.E.L.D. Fury proposes an alliance with Loki to catch the killer, and they confront Hope's father, Hank Pym, who built a yellow jacket shrinking suit to commit the murders as a means of getting revenge against Fury. Loki defeats Pym, who is taken into Asgardian custody. Loki then decides to stay on Earth and subjugate humanity, quickly becoming its ruler. Fury begins assembling more heroes, finding Steve Rogers frozen in ice, and summoning Carol Danvers to Earth. Really, I feel very neutral about this episode. There's a couple of cool things I like about it, and this is the only thing I'll really speak on before I let Basement and Heather go. The ending just felt kind of flat.
The whole episode felt kind of flat until Loki decided to do
Show
his
up.
magic stuff and create multiple copies of himself to get him to kind of surrender. But it's...
I didn't listen. I'm not saying I was excited for this episode. I'm just saying is that like I was very neutral about this one. I wasn't like jumping for joy, but it had like an intriguing element of a whodunit kind of mystery to it, which, all right, I'll bite.
I usually enjoy those. However, it felt like they just wanted to force Ant-Man in on this whole fucking series and couldn't figure out where to do it except for right here.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, this out of the first three, this is the best. Mainly because you don't just all of a sudden a character is a certain way. There's a reason for what's happening. They don't know it at first, but when they find it out, at least there's a reason for a character to be that way. Like, it's the most complete of the ones. Yes, it meanders at times, but it's still the most complete episode from point A to point B to point C. Things happen, and it's more concise, where, like, the last one, we just had to accept certain things. And the one beforehand was like, why is this being made? For this one, I mean, you've got the whodunit aspect, and it's finally we get a look at Hank Pym, who's basically been just an old fucking codger in every part of the MCU. Finally, he's like a force to be reckoned with, and he destroys these people out of
As an old codger.
Stuff. Yeah, as an old codger. I agree with you though, Connor, that the ending is just okay. Because I think some of that stems from the fact that I don't want to see the Loki thing anymore.
No, it wasn't Loki's ending that fell flat. It was just like resolution. Oh, I'm going to invade Earth, and then Nick's like, well, we're gonna get Captain America and Captain
Marvel. Yeah.
See, she's so bad I don't even want to say her name.
I think they should have just left it with Loki winning.
Yes.
Yep. And that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's the goal of this. You don't need happy endings for a lot of these what ifs.
We'll get to that.
But that's what they should be at least gearing a bit more towards, because a lot of the times what if is fucking terrible. Not always great, right? And that's why it would have been a great if they ended it with Loki taking over. With this episode coming right after the one that was Sunshine and Buttercups would have worked a bit better for me. But still, I think it's better than the one before.
That one's tough for me. I liked the second episode. See, the thing is, I like both episodes for different reasons, and so it's hard for me to say if I would like one or the other better. For me, that's tough. I like the second episode a little bit more than the third, personally.
The second episode forces me to swallow a pill I'm not comfortable swallowing. That's why I don't.
You've swallowed a lot of fucking pills.
I fucking take those fucking pills.
That's just me. I just, and again, it's two very different types of stories too. So it's kind of hard to, Yeah. It's tricky to compare some of these episodes because they are so different in some aspects. But Heather, if you,
I think it's a self-contained story. That's why I think the third is better.
Okay. Heather, so for you, would you put number 2 as number 1, number 3 as number 2, and number 1 as number 3?
Yes.
What if? Math.
What if we were bad at math?
Yeah, that's the order I would put it in.
Okay.
And number 1's just going to keep sliding down the line.
Yeah, I think we're on the agreement that like the first episode is staying at the bottom of the barrel. I think that's safe.
You know what? It's got a partner.
Yeah, it does.
That happens.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. However, in my opinion, and I'm going to state this right at the beginning, before I even get into the review of it, episode 4, in my opinion, I will stand by it, is the best episode of What If.
I agree. It's the most impactful episode. Is it a new concept? No, because I've seen it done several times in media before in terms of like trying to change past, whatever.
Yep.
But when you see something like this that they're doing in the show, and it's like, man, what if the rest of the episodes were handled with this much care?
Right?
I know, right? So episode 4 is what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? After successfully completing a rare hemispherectomy, surgeon Dr. Steve Strange and his girlfriend Dr. Christine Palmer drive to a celebration party in his honor. However, they get into a car crash that kills Christine Palmer. A grieving Strange seeks out answers in Karmatage, where he becomes a master of the mystic arts. While studying the Eye of Agamotto, Strange learns that he can manipulate time, but is warned by the Ancient One and Wong not to do so, as it could damage the fabric of reality. 2 years after Palmer's death, Strange returns to the night that using the eye, but is unable to save her no matter how he alters the events. The Ancient One explains that averting Palmer's death would mean that he would never become a sorcerer, creating a universe-destroying paradox as an event known as an absolute point in time. Strange refuses to listen and uses the eye to escape to the lost library of Cagliostro, where he meets librarian Oben, I can't remember his name, and learns that he can amass enough power to break an absolute point by absorbing magical beings. After centuries of absorbing magical beings, Strange is told by a dying Obeng that he is still not powerful enough because he is only half of himself. When Strange escaped from the Ancient One, she used the power of the Dark Dimension to split him into 2 alternate versions, with one Strange studying the books of Cagliostro to become an evil version dubbed Strange Supreme, and a good version accepting Palmer's death. The Ancient One believes the latter Strange can defeat Strange Supreme. After a battle between the two, Strange Supreme overpowers the good Strange and absorbs him. Strange Supreme uses his enhanced powers to reverse Palmer's death, but she's repulsed by his monstrous appearance. As the paradox begins tearing reality apart and his surroundings collapse, Strange Supreme begs the Watcher for help, the latter refusing to interfere, and the universe is destroyed. While Strange preserves a small pocket of it, Palmer disintegrates, leaving a regretful Strange Supreme to grieve alone.
All right, but every time it's like all I'm thinking is like I'll have a Strange Supreme.
It's with all the toppings, yeah. There's a lot I like about this episode. You're right, Basement, that this is not the first time we've seen this story done in media before, but I think this is the right character to do it with. I think this is the right what-if scenario to do it with. And I love how if Doctor Strange isn't fucking selfish, he destroys the fucking universe.
I would have actually fucking preferred this being Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
In all honesty, it's so much more character-driven, and it's so much more about him and the struggles of what he's dealing with. And it does include a multiversal aspect, or at least time travel and the fucking Watcher. The one thing I don't like, and I wish they kind of just left it out, was when he's trying to save her over and over and over again. Is like one time they don't even get in the car; they go dancing, and she just dies of natural causes or something. It's like,
I will say that at one point her deaths became comical. I don't know about you, but like it got to a point where it's like you're trying to emphasize the point that like he's fucked no matter what he does, which I get that. And like they tried to do it with like the last part was like I just want to see you, or I like to see you happy, and then like he leans back and closes his eyes, like accepting that it's gonna fucking happen, which would have been a great capper. But that was like 2 or 3 deaths more than you should have. Like that like she's getting pizza and the guy comes in with a gun. I fucking bursted out laughing because I'm like it's becoming comical at this point. Like it's just like. And then he doesn't pick her up at all. A fire broke out. It's like I fucking.
I feel like they did not only there with the how she dies thing, but with the amount of fucking creatures he's absorbing, they went a bit too long on those like montages, I guess. Yeah. I would have cut them down by like 2 or 3 and made it a bit more concise. But other than that, like I mean, this is by far, in my opinion, the better episode or the best episode of the series.
Yeah.
And it's a good look into Doctor Strange, who's been kind of done dirty, man.
In the live action features, yes. I mean, for Doctor Strange 2, I was hoping that they would go with something like this, the What If series, because then that would have just solidified even more that it is part of canon. in one way or another. What way, we have still yet to figure out. But it would have solidified it at least. But then I saw the trailers for Doctor Strange 2 and saw Wanda, and it's just like, yep, they fucked that up already.
You know what's fucking funny? I would have swapped this with the movie. Because as soon as the next episode happens, it makes sense for a couple characters to exist that the movie creates, like the zombie, this and that, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, oh, man. It's unfortunate because this is too good for the show.
I had the exact same phrase in my head. I said earlier that Chadwick Boseman was one of, if not the best voice actor. I think Benedict Cumberbatch is probably right up there with him, and this episode proves it.
Well, he's had practice because he was the Grinch in the new Grinch movie.
Oh, that's right. He was the Grinch. God bless that man. I love him.
Smog.
I'm surprised. Yep.
And the Hobbit trilogy.
Yes.
He was also, I think we might have mentioned this when we did the review of the movie, although we were all fucking. He is Dormammu. Yeah, he is. He is Dormammu in that too. I'm surprised they haven't made him a fucking doctor yet. Doctor Who, like I'm surprised they have not made him.
Well, he was Sherlock.
Sherlock. Yeah, I know that. He's great at Sherlock.
He's great at Sherlock Holmes.
But I'm just saying, I'm surprised they haven't made him a doctor in terms of like in the Doctor Who franchise, because I think he's
fucking face on him.
At the time, they had David Tennant, they had Matt Smith.
I mean, true. They have a lot of. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, he might still be.
Yeah.
True. You never know.
Could be the next Doctor.
They're gonna have to pay a fucking shit ton of money to get him though.
I think the haunting ending of this one is
incredible.
Great. It's quiet. It's somber. It's just the slow shrinking of it, and to Basement's point, it's like not every what if is going to have a happy ending, and that was really that was the big thing when I remember when I first watched it. It's like, oh, not everything is going to have the cookie cutter ending that they want. Which, okay, I'm
reality.
Yeah,
exactly. Why I would have loved this show to kind of. Don't get me wrong. I don't want every fucking episode to be a complete downer, right? Like you need a good balance, but
yeah.
They don't. I mean, there's such opportunity to do what they did in this episode for multiple characters, and they just don't ever really hit it again for me. To this level, they do something good with a character that I like later on, but this is a self-contained story that works so well with a character that got fucking took it up the butt in his second movie.
Basically. Speaking of taking it up the butt, what if zombies?
Oh, this is such a
this
waste of an episode for me. It's such a waste of an episode for me that like it could have been a bit more interesting, but
I went in this without putting my brain on, like no pun intended. I really
that's a zombie.
Yeah. So the plot in this one. Episode 5, What If Zombies? Hank Pym enters the quantum realm to retrieve his long-lost wife, Janet Van Dyne, but she has been infected with a quantum virus that has turned her into a zombie. She infects Pym before both... What?
I'm like, okay, I guess this is the thing in the quantum realm.
Right?
Sure. Didn't somebody make fun of that once where it's like, if you just put the word quantum in front of everything, it doesn't make it, though, whatever.
Yeah.
She infects Pym before both return to his lab, attacking Scott Lang while their daughter Hope escapes. Within 24 hours, the virus spreads across the northwestern United States. The Avengers respond but are infected themselves and turn the virus into a worldwide zombie apocalypse. 2 weeks later, Bruce Banner is sent to Earth to warn humanity of the threat of Thanos. Thanos' lieutenants Ebony Maw and Cole Obsidian arrive only to be turned into zombies by Tony Stark, Stephen Strange, and Wong, who were all infected. Hope and the Cloak of Levitation kill the zombies, saving Bruce. Another survivor, Peter Parker, brings Banner to meet the rest of the survivor group: Bucky Barnes, Okoye, Sharon Carter, Kurt, and Happy Hogan. The crew travels to Camp Lehigh in New Jersey, where they believe a cure for the virus is being developed. On the way there, they are attacked by zombies, including Steve Rogers, Clint Barton, and Sam Wilson, who kill Carter and Hogan before the survivors kill the zombies in turn. Hope is infected during the attack and sacrifices herself to bring the other survivors to the camp. They meet Vision, whose Mind Stone can reverse the virus's effect, exemplified by Lang's cured head being kept alive in a jar. However, the group also learns that Vision had been keeping a zombified Wanda Maximoff captive due to her resisting the Mind Stone, and has been feeding other survivors to her, including pieces of T'Challa. I'm sorry, that was fucking funny. Maximoff breaks free and kills Kurt, Okoye, and Barnes. Unwilling to live without Maximoff, Vision sacrifices himself to give up the Mind Stone so the others can cure the world with it. While Parker, Lang, T'Challa, and the Cloak escape in a quadjet, Banner stays behind and turns into the Hulk to battle Maximoff and an oncoming zombie horde. In the hopes of broadcasting the Mind Stone's energy around the world, the 4 survivors head to Wakanda, unaware that the country has already been conquered by a zombified Thanos wielding a nearly completed Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay. Several problems.
I'm going to say one line about this, and I'll let you guys speak, and then I'll get back to my points. But to me, this felt like Nickelodeon presents the zombie apocalypse.
Such a dumb fucking way. I mean, okay, the first thing I'm doing.
But zombies are cool, man.
I don't have a problem with zombies. I have a problem with what they decided to do and who they chose to be zombies. It's like, it's not, okay, turning Tony Stark into a zombie is just a zombie. It's just a zombie.
Oh, you're talking about the fact that they kept their powers?
Well, that he doesn't have any fucking powers. He's got a suit that you need to be intelligent to fucking use.
Right.
This is where the problem is. The people you want to turn zombies are the people that don't have powers that are the people that have natural powers. I would have turned the Hulk a zombie first. That would have been dangerous. You take people with Thor or people with like natural abilities. Captain America's fine because he's super strong. But when you turn characters that like Falcon or whatever, and like, what the fuck's the point? Because they're just people. I would have gone with the natural effect, and then the smarter ones, the ones trying to stop it, and then you could almost do like how Left 4 Dead had like specialized zombies, and that would basically be the ones that were turned, and everybody else would be whatever. But you can't have Tony Stark zombie act like Tony Stark or like be able to use his suit and shit if not everybody else that's a zombie is not just pretty much intelligent as well.
I will agree that I think the one that really made me like tilt my head the most, the one that made me tilt the head the most was a zombie Doctor Strange, because you're right. Like the zombie Tony I can sort of understand to some extent as far as some limited abilities of the suit. I'm not saying he can do fucking everything, but yes, I agree with your point.
The suit need like to be charged.
But then you have, well, no, not anymore.
Yeah.
But
well,
not by tone. Wow, semantics. But it's not like Zombie Strange who's like, you know, and being able to like know how to cast spells and be able to focus and shit like that. I think that was horse crap right there. But you're right. I think that they should have leaned more towards like, give me all of Wakanda turned into zombies. Give me the Dora Milaje turned into zombies. Give me Cap, Bucky, trying to think of
give me T'Challa turned into a zombie, because if he's in his suit naturally absorbs fucking energy. So it's not the brain so much as like everything else that they have going for them. That would be more in line with what would be like if they went to do a horror episode. That would be the scary part.
Right.
Or even Spider-Man turn his ass into a zombie, be fucking all in the walls and shit. Like, it's just who they chose baffles me. And the way this whole fucking thing played out baffled me, because they tried to fit too much. I actually liked the Vision Wanda thing, because that's such a zombie
that was
movie
probably
trope.
that was one of my favorite parts of the whole thing.
Keep my loved one alive by feeding them. Like, it's such a zombie movie thing that I was like, I'm good with this. But then the whole Hope Van Dyne shit was weird, and the way the fucking episode ended, it was just like, we're done. Goodbye.
It
didn't even have an ending.
Not really. What about you, Heather? What'd you thought of the zombie apocalypse?
This was definitely their fun time, just throwaway episode. Honestly,
Apparently not, because they're making a series out of it.
fucking thing. The amount of thought they put into this episode was just non-existent. I mean, cloak of levitation. Come on now. She is the fucking wasp. She can fly with her suit.
Yeah. But the cloak of levitation could, you know,
Cloak
cloak
levitation
things.
is just basically a character. I don't know why it would need to be worn. In the whole episode, it's a
it
fucking
wants
character.
to feel used and loved. I don't know, fucking know.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
This episode had like terrible writing and terrible inconsistencies.
I was about to say there's two episodes. There's two episodes that I really point to more so as far as like the writing was not as cared for as much. That's the nice way of putting it. This is one of them, and the 7th episode is the one I'll point to, which we'll get to.
I gotta stress this because I am serious on this question. Who is this show for? What age group? Who is this for?
Probably teenagers.
Because
yeah, that's my guess.
Okay, so if you're gonna have as an episode like the Doctor Strange one,
or the diehards. I mean, let's face it, because if they're gonna play off of,
I mean, I would have used this as like a pivotal point to actually showcase some aspect of horror. You could have done it. It's fucking garbage, this episode. I'm sorry. There's so much wrong with this episode that it's like you could have actually pivoted off to have like if they want to do a series of
they could have done
shit.
so much more with this. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just
It's such a wasted episode. Like this is a huge waste for me, and I'm like, what is going on? I don't care about anything happening.
It wasn't thought through.
Random Russian guys in this for some reason because he's
will-
the Russian comedy.
I will 100% give you that this episode was not very thought through at all. 100%. Yeah, zombies. Gotta love them. Sorry, my brain's fried. Moving on. We up to episode number 6, which is What If, and this is actually another one that I like really a good amount. What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark? So in Afghanistan, Tony Stark's military convoy is ambushed by the Ten Rings, but he's saved by Eric Killmonger Stevens. Returning to Stark Industries, Stark hires Killmonger and pledges to build better weapons. Killmonger exposes Obadiah's Stane's involvement in the ambush, having infiltrated the Ten Rings, and subsequently replaces Stade. Stark offers his expertise to build drone robots designed by Killmonger and succeeds at building one with Killmonger's vibranium ring as a power source. But needing more vibranium to create a drone army, they arrange for James Rhodey Rhodes to buy stolen vibranium from Ulysses Klaue. Klaue leaks word of the transaction to Wakanda, luring T'Challa / the Black Panther, who attacks the meeting to reclaim the vibranium. Killmonger kills T'Challa and Rhodes, making it look as if they killed each other, but Stark confronts Killmonger and attempts to avenge Rhodes by ordering the drone to kill Killmonger, but Killmonger defeats the drone and kills Stark with a Dora Milaje spear, staging it as a Wakandan attack. Shortly after, Killmonger creates an army of drones with the stolen vibranium. The United States and Wakanda enter a conflict over the deaths of T'Challa, Rhodes, and Stark. The American military, led by General Thaddeus Ross, assumes control of Stark Industries and uses the drone army to invade Wakanda. Meanwhile, Killmonger kills Klaue to prove his allegiance to Wakanda and reunites with the Wakandans' ruler and his estranged uncle T'Chaka's and aunt Ramonda. Killmonger cuts off Ross's command of the drones and secretly reactivates their combat capabilities so they can lead the Wakandan army in defeating them. After the battle, T'Chaka bestows the Black Panther mantle to Killmonger, and in the astral plane, Killmonger meets with T'Challa, who warns him that he will be defeated one day. But as the American military plans to eradicate Wakanda, T'Challa's sister Shuri meets with Stark's assistant Pepper Potts, proposing that they expose the truth of Killmonger's deceit. I actually really like this episode a lot, to be very honest with you. I think that this was, again, much like the second episode, of like kind of a uniqueness of like placing Killmonger into a different environment or a different time and how he would have done things a little bit differently. It's still the same manipulation. It's almost
the exact same way he did it the first time. No, this episode, it was okay. I mean, what if Killmonger did everything the same and everybody else just got dumb? Like,
Yeah.
Like everybody was stupid as shit around this guy, and he just got what he wanted. That basically, what if Killmonger got what he wanted, and that's what it is, which is fine because at least it's a different take, but it's not a different character.
No.
Like
No.
This to me it's better than zombies, and it's
Better than
I don't think
Captain
it's better
Carter.
It's better than Captain Carter, but for me, it's not as good as the second one.
No.
Yes, I will agree with you on that. I think that this one was, it's basically just like copy and paste and putting him in a different spot and a different people. I will admit that like Tony not seeing a lot of this coming, dying.
I mean,
again.
what if Marvel Studios? What if Tony was completely retarded the entire time?
Turns into that fucking. Turns that Rick from Rick and Morty, the one that like likes Jerry's coins.
Likes to eat his own shit. It's like it's so convenient. Like what if he had no obstacles, and what if there was no payoff? Welcome to What If.
I think if you posed it though as like what if Killmonger got what he wanted, that's actually not a bad way. I would have actually renamed that episode that. What if Killmonger got what he wanted?
I would have liked to see his character change. What if Killmonger became Black Panther and do a character shift with him? I would have preferred that over what if Killmonger was Killmonger from Black Panther.
I don't mind that though. In terms of the same character in a different situation, how would they react differently or a different time? What, a different situation?
Yeah, is it really that different of a situation? Is it kind of just?
Well, half of it is.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Never worked for
I'm not jumping for the fences on this one either. I'm just telling you that right now. I'm not like I'm agreeing with you. It's underneath the second episode. But sorry, Heather, go ahead.
It's just.
What if?
What if?
It's exactly like Basement says. It's Killmonger getting everything he wanted handed to him.
It's the same shit.
It's not. It's written poorly, and they just did what they did to get where they wanted to get. This for me would have been a great if they want to reintroduce Killmonger at some point in time.
Well, there's a rumor.
Well, I mean, you're not gonna. Michael B. Jordan's a great actor, and you don't want to ruin him in the Black Panther series by having him a one and done, especially if you're opening up the opportunity by having 1 trillion different worlds where everybody's different and shit like that. This would have been a good glimpse into, and maybe this is why they didn't do it here, which is why they shouldn't have done it at all, maybe. But they're probably wanting to do his character shift down the line in live action, which I guess is why they kept him the same here and was just like, hey, let's make everybody else stupid. And he's Black Panther. Wasn't for me. This episode was okay at best.
You in the same boat, Heather?
Actually, I think when they put him in, when they did this episode, they had no plan for him at first. And now that Wakanda 2, that Black Panther 2 is almost ready to be released.
Mm-hmm.
I think that actually Black Panther 2 took some ideas from What If. But we'll see what happens with the movie when we get there.
I'm skeptical if he's going to show up in Black Panther 2, to be honest.
Considering they showed him dead in the first Black Panther.
I think you might see him.
Death doesn't mean shit anymore.
I think you might see him in the Kang's.
You know what? It's something we are going to harp on because of the fact that, hey, shut up. But
well, here's the, might as well go into the rumor mill a little bit here. There has been some
chicken.
There has been some online rumblings that we could see the return of Killmonger in Black Panther Wakanda Forever because of a couple of different notes. The first is that we know that the Black Lotus flower that gives the Black Panther abilities has been known to bring people either back from the dead or near-death experiences. In fact, remember...
T'Challa in the first movie.
Yep. And where was Killmonger's body placed? Where did he say he wanted his body to be put?
I don't know. Under the earth?
in the sea. And who's the main antagonist of Black Panther Wakanda Forever?
He-Man.
What? Did you say He-Man?
I said Sea-Man.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I don't know what his actual name is, but he's
Namor.
Aquaman.
Namor. Yeah, it's basically Marvel's
Finding
Namor. Oh my God, that's fucking great. So there's people that are theorizing that perhaps the Atlanteans found the body of Killmonger, somehow preserved it, and that through backdoor loopholes, it'll bring him back to life.
Hey, I wouldn't be against it because, I mean, you don't have T'Challa anymore, so...
Yeah.
Wouldn't be opposed to it either.
They need something, and they need somebody who they know is going to kill the fucking role, and Killmonger would be that one.
Yeah.
Also, he like just screams fucking Marvel. Like Michael B. Jordan. Oh, man.
But moving on up, we got episode number 7, which is... Oh God!
My fucking Lord. This
what if
special.
Thor were an only child?
Towards the end, fucking pile of crap. A steaming pile of shit. This episode.
This is Marvel humor in one episode.
It's not even funny.
I didn't say it was.
At the one thing it's supposed to be good at, it fails at.
Towards the end of the Asgard Jotunheim War, Odin finds the frost giant baby Loki and takes him back to his father Loki, forming a truce with the frost giant. Centuries later, when Odin goes into Basement's favorite Odin sleep.
Yes, that was the best part of this episode.
I
went into Odin's sleep during this episode.
His wife Frigga instructs their son Thor to study while she visits her sister. Thor instead travels to Las Vegas to start a party, inviting humans, Asgardians, and aliens alike. Astrophysicist Jane Foster warns the government. Hold on, I just want to see something here. No shit. Astrophysicist Jane Foster warns the government, but upon meeting Thor, she grows close to him. S.H.I.E.L.D. director Nick Fury tries to stop Thor, but is accidentally knocked out by Korg. The next day, acting S.H.I.E.L.D. director Maria Hill confronts Foster due to her warning, but as more aliens arrive, including the now adult Prince Loki and several other frost giants, and Thor start throwing destructive parties worldwide, Hill calls in Carol Danvers to persuade Thor to leave. He refuses and they fight, with Thor eventually defeating her when she avoid using her full power out of fear of causing casualties. Following this, Foster's intern, Darcy Lewis, suggests that Danvers instead attack Thor in a less populated area. Seeking a more peaceful solution, Foster contacts Heimdall, who helps her meet Frigga and explain the situation. As Danvers duels Thor in Siberia, Hill authorizes a nuclear strike on Thor, but both it and the fight are called off when Frigga contacts Thor and tells him that she will be returning soon. Frightened, Thor ends the party and convinces the partygoers to help him clean up. Frigga arrives, finding Thor studying with his routine, but of course sees evidence of the partying. Before returning to Asgard, Thor visits Foster to give her thanks and, of course, to forgive her and thank her for contacting Frigga. Thor asks Foster out for a date, however, he is suddenly confronted by an alternate reality version of Ultron in Vision's body, who wields all 6 Infinity Stones. There is only one thing I really liked about this episode, and ironically, it's the fight between Thor and Captain Marvel, and that's the visual. That's it.
You didn't like the fact that the Bifrost all of a sudden was slow as shit? You didn't like the fact that it was a party episode that was boring as shit? You didn't like the fact that the comedy never landed? You didn't like the fact that it was just character galore that had no reason to be character galore, just to sell fucking
toys,
figurines of characters?
I feel like you're trying to say something.
You didn't like the fact that it was a pile of shit steaming?
Still better than Carter.
No, it's not. No, this is terrible. This is like one of the worst things. This and at least Carter. At least for it, no, you know what? They're both fucking shit. Neither one of them is better than the other. They're right at the bottom of the barrel. Like I hated both of these episodes. This episode was terrible. I'm like, what is that? What if he was like? This is where you're going with Thor? Yeah. Honestly, the places you could. What if Thor was evil? What if Thor was anything else but this? What if Thor was a party boy? This is where they wanted to go with this. And It went on for forever, and nothing happened. And then it's like, oh, well, my mom's coming by the Bifrost, and it's gonna take 7 days for some reason. Let's fix the Earth. And it's like him wiping off Thor rules or some shit, and then he gets his hammer back and it's got fucking beads on it. Great. What is this
How
crap?
did Jane get in touch with Heimdall if she has no fucking clue?
Why is this happening? Why is this thing?
Because they want Bro Thor. And I think, honestly, this is a precursor to where they're going to go with Thor's character. I'm not going to lie.
You might as well just take him out and shoot him in the head. Because at this point in time, his character's dead. He had his arc, and it was good. And it should have been, like, where he becomes more wise and becomes a leader. But it's like, nope. We're going to make him into a fucking dingus. And it's just I would have preferred if they did, what if the roles of Thor and Loki got reversed? Or what if this happened? You know, there's so many other fucking... Yeah. They're so much better than what if he became a frat boy that crashed planets and got drunk. It's such a shitty take.
It's like, you could tell that they were getting tired of doing this entire series by this point, because this episode, just like the zombies episode, no shits given.
Yeah.
What?
About you know what?
About the acting, it was just, there was nothing. This episode was just, yeah, whatever, that works.
This is what I kind of related this to. If you ever seen like a limited series, like animated show or an anime or a cartoon,
yes.
Where they always have that episode where they do drugs or they get fucked up and it goes wild. This was their attempt at that, and this was
bad.
Fucking horseshit garbage.
Aren't you glad I made you watch these things?
Oh no, this was terrible. Like, I was watching this and I'm like, holy fucking Christ. And I couldn't look at his face. The animation for his face killing me.
Him particularly was the worst offender, I think, as far as the
the offenders assemble. Could be a group of pedophiles.
Oh God. Anything else on this one before we go on to episode number 8?
Move forward.
What's that?
Okay. Please God.
Episode 8. What if Ultron won?
Oh, sorry. The last one. The best thing about the last one was Ultron. In the last second, for 1 second. There we go.
No, for me it was the visual fight of Marvel and Thor. Just seeing the actual choreography. That is the only thing I took away from it. Okay. Other than that,
they doubled down on fucking Captain Marvel being an unlikable horse-faced bitch.
No shit. So, episode 8, What If Ultron Won? Tony Stark creates creates the Ultron Global Defense Program to keep the Earth safe and create world peace. However, Ultron goes rogue and concludes that rather than peace, the Earth needs an evolution, leading him to have the body of Vision created for himself and transfers program into Vision. Now, with the new body, Ultron proceeds to kill Stark and most of the Avengers before launching nuclear missiles around the Earth, eradicating most of humanity. Shortly after, Thanos arrives, seeking the Mind Stone to complete the Infinity Gauntlet, but Ultron bisects him and takes the Infinity Stones for himself, becoming aware of the wider universe. Using the stones, Ultron builds an army of sentries and a teleporting spaceship before proceeding to destroy several planets and kills most of the universe's remaining life. With his mission complete, Ultron is left without a purpose until he hears the Watcher's narration and becomes aware of the multiverse's existence. Meanwhile, surviving Avengers Natasha Romanoff and Clint Barton fight to survive Ultron's forces, though Barton is losing the will to live. Arriving in Moscow, they search the KGB files in the hopes of defeating Ultron, finding one for Arnim Zola, a Hydra scientist whose consciousness was uploaded into a computer after his death. Romanoff and Barton travel to Siberia Hydra laboratory and coerce Zola into helping them, intending to upload him into Ultron's programming and delete Ultron. They lure in a group of Ultron sentries and upload Zola's consciousness into one. However, Zola cannot upload himself into Ultron as Ultron has left their universe. Barton sacrifices himself so that Romanoff and Zola can escape. Upon locating the Watcher, Ultron fights him across multiple realities and emerges victorious, but the former flees before he can be killed. Ultron assumes control of the Watcher's observatory, now having countless universes to attack. With no other options, the Watcher meets with Doctor Strange Supreme, with all the toppings, whom he had previously left to his fate, and requests his help in stopping Ultron. I have mixed feelings about this, and I'm more so what, and I'm trying to separate this episode from the
final one.
The final one. I at least give the series some fucking credit for trying to give Ultron some sort of like semblance
Actual
of
story.
well, not just actual story, but a fucking perceiving him as a bigger deal than he was treated with, even in the Age of Ultron or Day of Ultron movie. So I give him that. I did tilt my head that he beat Thanos so quickly, but it sort of makes sense if you know the comics, because I mean, Thanos was not as smart as people think as they made him to be in the MCU.
Yeah.
I'm torn. I'm torn because I get a lot of the zombie episode in this one, as far as like the post-apocalyptic, like everything's fucked situation. I actually love the fight between Ultron and the Watcher. I think that is some of the best visual and like fight choreography in the entire fucking series is between the two of them. Also, the voice actor for Ultron's not bad either. Who I believe is the same actor who does the Red Skull. Yeah, Roscoe Marquand. But I'm kind of torn in this episode, for story purposes.
Yeah. Honestly, with this episode, they tried to make the story of Ultron better than what the fucking movie was.
Yep, which I give them a lot of credit for.
I do give them credit for that, but at the same time, it kind of dragged for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the other thing that I did, the other thing I actually did like about, or the thing I kind of like rolled my eyes at, was the end, because once you heard the end, it's like, fuck, he's gonna bring all the stories together and he's gonna recruit everybody from like, you knew the writing on the wall when he started to recruit Strange. It's like, fuck,
Yeah,
you really gonna do this?
I'm so confused about one thing in this episode. They have Clint Barton and Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck are they?
What do you mean, where are they?
Because doesn't he like destroy everything in that universe and then goes elsewhere?
So Ultron launches the nukes. He
No,
launches all
but
the
like
world.
he doesn't he like destroy every world? It shows him destroying every world with like these fucking like nanobots versions of him, like, you know, the visual of him being shot out like sperm from a big.
Yeah, off world.
Yeah.
He goes off world.
So why is their world still there?
Because he didn't destroy the actual, like, I don't know. There's a reason in terms of
Like they take a plot point to show that he's like, I have nothing left. I'm done here. But there's still obviously people there left fighting against you.
Well, he left bots there too, maybe to make sure that everything else was alive still.
I don't know, that part to me I was like, what the fuck? I thought it, like, and they go on to show how he like destroys fucking different universes.
Oh, we'll get there.
Like your galaxy, like, you know, he's destroying fucking everything. So
Mhm.
it like to me, I was like, you can't show me him being like, I have no purpose left. I have none of this. I have one. But it's like you haven't obliterated everything. There's still fucking the place where you started that you apparently forgot about.
yeah.
That you know people are alive trying to challenge you because you have hive mind.
Yeah.
Like that to me fucking obliterates this episode because it makes no sense at all. I agree with you. The fight between them is visually incredible. Though I can't get behind the Watcher. The big baby, motherfucking big baby looking son of a bitch kills me. This is a much more interesting take on Ultron than the movie.
Yes.
They do more justice to the character, and this is where I say, like, they do Doctor Strange well and they do Ultron well in this show, and literally nobody else. I mean, those two are the tier above. This is still like it's a better episode for the show. It's just like, I mean, I don't know. The ending was, oh god, and this made me think of how I would have changed this entire series. And I know we're going to talk about the final episode, but I want to mention this now. If they knew they were doing 9 episodes, I would have done 3 main storylines, and I would have done 3 episodes apiece.
Yep.
I would have done a 3-episode arc, a 3-episode arc, a 3-episode arc. I wouldn't have done this all fucking. Let's try to get everything in at the end. Like if they picked the 3 best storylines, they could have had a very good. Like you can't do it all. They've shown they can't do it all in one episode. They either have an episode that tries to fit too much, or an episode that has nothing that they try to fit 35 minutes of garbage.
Well, let's hope they perfect it in the second season then.
No, I doubt it.
Yeah, I'm a little torn in this one, and I think the ending just makes me kind of get ready to roll my eyes for what's a coming.
Which makes no okay. I have to clarify something first, and this is especially before we get to the last episode.
Okay.
Ultron has all of the Infinity Stones, correct?
Yep.
So nothing makes sense at this point, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. Just wanted to clear that up. And also, isn't there like a thing where the Infinity Stones only work within yeah, okay. Yeah. Let's get there.
Fuck it. You are right. In Marvel Comics, it is established that the Infinity Stones can only work in the universe that they come from, which is thrown out the fucking window in this show.
And you know how big of a plot hole that is? Because if it works in every fucking universe, I'm gonna snap my fingers and kill everybody everywhere in every universe all at once. Right?
From chair.
Right? Right? Yeah. Yeah. Still fucking sucks ass.
One of the many main problems I have with as we get into the finale, episode 9, what if the Watcher broke his oath? And I broke my hymen from watching this fucking show. In Captain Peggy Carter's universe, she duels George Batroc, but is interrupted by the Watcher, who has chosen her for his team. In Star-Lord T'Challa's universe, T'Challa helps Peter Quill in defeating Ego before he is recruited by the Watcher. After recruiting Carter and T'Challa, the Watcher recruits Killmonger, Thor, and a Gamora who battled on Sakaar alongside Tony Stark and killed her version of Thanos from their respective universes. Together, they form the Guardians of the Multiverse alongside Dr. Stephen Strange Supreme to fight against Ultron, who plans to destroy the multiverse. The team prepares for battle in a universe lacking intelligent life, but Thor accidentally draws Ultron's attention. A battle ensues, which ends with T'Challa stealing the Soul Stone and Strange teleporting a horde of zombies, including a zombified Wanda Maximoff, onto Ultron, before escaping to Ultron's home universe. There they meet that universe's Natasha Romanoff, before they are interrupted by a returning Ultron who had defeated the zombies. The team manages to subdue Ultron, and Gamora uses the Infinity Crusher in an attempt to destroy the Infinity Stones, but fails as the Crusher and the Stones are from different universes. Ultron re-engages the team and begins to overpower them. Romanoff, with Carter's help, shoots Ultron with Clint Barton's arrow that contains Arnim Zola's artificial intelligence. Zola's AI destroys Ultron's mind, but Killmonger steals Ultron's armor and the Infinity Stones, telling the Guardians that the power may be able to fix their worlds, but they refuse. Zola reactivates Ultron's vision body and begins to fight Killmonger for the stones. Strange and the Watcher freeze them in time and seal them inside a pocket dimension, which Strange agrees to watch over. The Watcher returns Carter, T'Challa, Thor, and Gamora back to their home universes, with Romanoff, who refuses to return to her own dead universe, being brought to the universe where most of the Avengers, including that universe's Romanoff, were assassinated by Hank Pym as she saves Nick Fury from Loki. The Watcher continues to watch over the multiverse, which he now vows to protect. However, in a mid-credits scene, after returning to her universe, Carter and her universe's Romanoff defeat Batroc before discovering that the Hydra Stomper armor with someone contained inside. You guys go first, because
This episode is right almost with the bottom of the barrel, because it makes no fucking sense at all in any way. First of all, they want to shoehorn in that he's going to collect his team. His team fucking sucks. He's got one person that's worth being there, and that's Doctor Strange, who's also like fucking, you don't even know if he's a good guy. Everybody else is garbage fest. It's like, if you're going to collect people from the entire multiverse that are going to defend the multiverse against the biggest threat yet, why in the fucking Christ are you getting 90% of these? You get the shittiest version of Thor. You get Captain America. I wouldn't even got Captain America Steve Rogers. I wouldn't have got any Captain America. There's so many other options. It's the glaring fucking elephant in the room. the bad guy is a fucking computer program. Computer programs are meant to be efficient. He knows he can destroy everybody, yet he decides not to for some reason that makes no fucking sense whatsoever. The only saving grace of this episode is the way it looks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything else is a steaming pile of shit.
Hence the profile picture.
And even the end credit scenes, I was like, I don't. Okay, there is a part in this episode that they went out of their way with the T'Challa episode to have Quill, whatever the fuck his name is, working at Dairy Queen. And then Ego, whatever the fuck his name was, shows up, and he's like, I'm like, okay, that could be an interesting story point. But no, he just blows him up and takes him, and they are shooting blasters together at the end. I'm like, what the fuck is this crap? And they have Captain Marvel and Captain America fighting Lokis or something, and I'm like, okay, I don't care. The end credits, or like the end of the show, I didn't give a shit about any of it. This episode, it's like they wanted to pull things together and make it epic, but all they did was fucking diarrhea down my mouth hole.
It's like they did their best to just sit there and say, you know what? We're done. Fuck you.
It's like continuity writing, comic books. What are these things? Movies that happened before this, huh?
This is why this entire series, I feel like they take 98% of it seriously, and therefore just threw out what they were going to throw out. And frankly, this last episode, being the season finale, being the hardest one to watch because of all the shit going on in the first place and trying to keep track of it at the same time, just to have it end in that fucking...
Honestly, there's a
version of Iron Man showing up.
There's a scene in this episode when they finish the job and they go back to the fucking bar in the middle of nowhere, and she it's Captain Carter, and she looks over and she sees Rogers' picture, and I was just like, I looked at the screen and said, "Fuck you," because I hated it so much. Like, I don't care about her. Her episode was shit. She's been absent the entire time. She comes back, and who gives a flying shit? Now she has a shield, and fucking Black Widow has a shield, and fucking Ultron has 8,000 shields. I don't give a fuck. It was terrible. And also, what was the magic armor? I guess they tried to explain away the fact that he would have killed them in one shot constantly. So Strange is like, let me put armor on you. It's going to protect you against everything. Why are you here if you're basically a no-powered cunt?
It was so bad.
I'm not disagreeing with anything Basement said. My biggest struggle with this entire episode is the story. You mean to fucking tell me that Ultron, who, yes, even the watered down version that we got in the Age of Ultron movie, who was still a threat to the Avengers, even though he wasn't that big of, he wasn't perceived as big as he should have been as far as a threat goes. But fine. He's wielding all 6 Infinity Stones, which means he has the control of souls, time, reality, space, power,
Just none of them.
Mind. He can literally do anything he fucking wants. And yet
doesn't.
Not just
he plays with them.
Either doesn't. It implies one of two things. Either Ultron is a fucking idiot / the stones aren't as powerful as we thought they were, or the Guardians of the Multiverse are extremely more powerful than we could ever.
Imply that.
I know, that's my fucking
it
problem.
The first point, 100%.
That's my fucking problem, is that it doesn't okay, Strange, I can buy that. I can buy this version of Strange because he has absorbed so many fucking creatures, and I can see him being a big threat against Ultron, even with the stones. Cool, fine, I can buy that to an extent. But you mean to fucking tell me that, Gamora Black
Why is he there?
Widow. I don't fucking know.
What the fuck is happening with Gamora? He goes and is like Gamora and Tony Stark. What the fuck is? I thought I missed an episode. Did I miss an episode or miss something?
No, you didn't. Nope.
He's like,
You did
Gamora, Tony Stark. No, you stay here. I choose you, Gamora. What? From where? From when? What's going on here?
It is so fucking infuriating because, and this goes back to my original point. If this episode did not exist and they just kept the 8 episodes as their own individual thing, their own serialized thing, my overall enjoyment of the series would have been bumped up a huge notch. Because I understand what it is, I understand its context, I understand its design is to have fun in the realms of these movie/franchises within the MCU. Fine. But then to try to fucking tie them together like this, especially the way they tie them together like this, is fucking ridiculous.
Okay. They need to pick a lane.
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
Either stay serialized or do a complete story. And this is why I said the 3-episode arcs would have been perfect.
I agree.
Because you can't do like a serialized approach with the entire thing and then just fucking mishmash shit together at the end. It ruined it. When I say serialized, I could hate a couple episodes and love or like a couple, and I could be okay with that.
I can take the worst of this series. I really can. I can sit there and be like, okay, you know, there's a little bit of things in here. It's not my cup of tea, or it's not my revenue, or you're not my avenue, and fine, I can buy that stuff. But I cannot forgive the end of the show. It is fucking so stupid and so pointless. On top of that, and granted, we're jumping a little bit ahead here, but spoilers ahead. Fucking, they did something in the end of this episode that they mentioned that you should not do in the fucking Doctor Strange movie. Which is putting somebody else from one universe into another.
Yeah.
It completely fucked
That don't work outside of the universe that they're found in.
Oh my god. And shout out to everybody who's rating us right now. Drew, EJ News, we got Cora in the house. Joe Compton, Tex the Rose, to Cartoon Kid. You guys are freaking awesome. Thank you so much. If you haven't subbed already, make sure you subscribe. We're just talking about, and we're just bitching and moaning the nerdiness of this fucking. But yeah, like, spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen the Doctor Strange movie, there's a point where they say like somebody from one universe should not stay in another universe long term because it could create an incursion and destroy both universes, and they fucking do this at the end of the show. It's just oh my god.
I also don't understand, like, the idea of the Watcher is to be our narrator, like the Twilight Zone type thing.
Yes.
You know, like,
well,
and as soon as they involve him, it also killed some of the mystique of the fucking show. I loved when they had him in the background and he was like less visible or visible. Like, that was visually, it looked great, and I liked the narration. I hate what they did.
So there's a couple things to note about that, about the Watcher. The first is the first is that the Watcher does involve himself in the business or in the affairs of the Marvel characters in the comics. He does like say he's like, I'm not gonna do anything, and then he sees something, he's like, hey shit, I gotta step in, which is more with the Fantastic Four, but that's neither here nor there.
Why is he a big baby?
I don't know. I didn't fucking draw him. There.
Time, baby.
But what was the other thing? Did anybody else notice that, like, in the early episodes we didn't see him as clearly, and then as we got closer towards the end, he became more and more like you could see him a little bit more.
It was a neat hint on him becoming like part of the storyline. I like that. But that's the thing. They do certain things that are so good, and yet they just fucking can't help shit their pants.
Marvel, man. It's fucking Marvel.
Marvel is the most confusing fucking product.
I mean, it also doesn't really make sense to me for him to be involved with the Ultron episode, the first time Ultron is shown, because of the fact that, didn't he say he doesn't meddle in the affairs of the human world?
Yeah, it's because Ultron actually saw him.
Found him.
Yeah, and as soon as that happened, he's like, well, I guess I gotta get my baby gloves on.
Which, who the fuck's he talking to?
Yes.
Yeah. Us, fourth wall.
But he's like, I have seen many things. And I'm like, but what the hell is this? Even I had to fucking chuckle at that. I thought that was fucking funny. But yeah, no, so that's why this series left a bad taste in my mouth. Is that individually the episodes are fine, cool, I can buy that, but then to tie them all in, it just fucking like it's so fucking
if it's
infuriating.
standalone and like that, the tying in is what killed the show for me. Like I said, I could hate certain episodes and like certain episodes, and I can take that. And I probably would actually check out the second season or be more willing to, if they were gonna go with like a mixed bag of 8s out of 10s and 3s out of 10s. But instead, they didn't do that, and they basically killed the idea of the show in the last 2 episodes for me.
Basically. So okay. Throwing it out there for you. What top 3 episodes of the first season of What If?
So my favorite is the Doctor Strange episode.
Yep. I think we're all on the same page on that one.
Without a doubt, that's the best one. Well, okay, first of all, the first one is shit. The second one is okay. I think I might put the third one in as my third favorite. Actually, wait, what's the fourth one? The fourth one's Doctor Strange, right?
Yes.
Fifth one. Hold on. Let me get my phone, because I can't. I watched them all in fucking heap, and it's hard to differentiate.
Just blend together. I know.
I want to give a quick. I want to give a quick shout out real quick. Unfortunately, I don't have, because my computer crashed over the weekend. I didn't have a chance to get everything set up here, but we did just get a donation from Mr. Derailed Drew himself for a massive $20 donation. So thank you, Drew. I apologize. I don't have the graphics up right now because friggin' damn computer crashed over the weekend. I didn't have a chance to set everything else. So Derailed, thank you for the $20 donation. Apologies, I don't have it set up at the moment. I'll try and see if I can quickly get it up and then running. But go ahead, you guys keep going.
Thank you very, very much.
See if I can get it replayed here.
I'm gonna go with Doctor Strange episode 4 as my first. What If Ultron 1 probably as my second, and probably third if What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes. Number 3.
So you did like that one? Oh, that's right. You said it was one of your favorites. Yeah.
Well, I liked it better than the other, the T'Challa and the Killmonger one, which are right below it. Labs. About time you get to stream those abs, bro.
Let me see if I can get the alert to play here real quick, because I do want to give Drew some credit here. So, apologies, folks. Like I said, my computer crashed last weekend, and I still haven't gotten everything 100% up and running. So, let me see if I can.
I'm always confused by Streamlabs because I load it up, and I think I have to run the stream through it. I'm confused.
No, you don't have to. All right, I think I got it working. Here we go. Ready? And this should work. We play this bitch. There we go.
Play it.
Raid.
Whole slot.
We'll go with that. It's a standard stuff, but I want to make sure we gave Drew the credit here. So thank you, Derailed, for the $20 donation again. Muchas gracias, good sir. And if you guys are all new here from the wonderful Derailed News and Podcast, if you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you're notified every time we go live. We go live pretty much every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Saturdays for No Bucks Given as well. So, and I know you guys also check out Derailed and other wonderful people on different platforms and different shows. You know, check out the playback too. So make sure you do that too. Heather, what were you saying were your top 3?
It would have to be number 4, number 2,
which is the T'Challa T'Challa Star-Lord. Yep. Toughie, right?
420. Yeah, well, we've been behind on this channel multiple times.
Oh,
SJP.
Listen, we had a pretty good No Bucks Given last Saturday, and who knows, it might repeat itself.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Whole slop, bitches.
Same.
Wait, what? I gotta go to the fucking depths of hell to get those gummies that destroyed my life.
Yeah, you need to get destroyed with us again.
I think I need to get some. I think I can get some edibles. But anyway,
Acid, bro.
I think my third favorite would have to be the I'm with Basement with What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes.
So number one is definitely the Doctor Strange episode. There's no not sugarcoating that. If I had to look, I have to look at the other episodes real quick though. So we had no, not zombies. Definitely not that one. I might be in the same boat with you guys actually. I hate to repeat our same answers, but I think I'm in the same boat. Definitely Doctor Strange number one. I think number two for me was. Oh, and we just got an alert of a screaming goat. Daniel Weinstein just subscribed. Thank you, Daniel, for the subscription.
Damn, Daniel.
Uh,
Last name is problematic.
Weinstein? Shoot. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have the same as Heather. I hate to be repetitive, but yep, definitely gonna keep that one. Also, want to thank Kayla Dunlap and Russian Bunny 34 for recently subscribing as well. Thank you guys so much for hitting that sub button as we're trying to get so dangerously close to 500. But that's pretty much gonna do it. Actually, I know that everybody just hopped on from the derailed side of things. I feel bad in the timing. We did throw the poll over in the chat. To have you guys vote. 18 votes on whether or not you guys thought What If was a thumbs up or a thumbs down, with What If getting a thumbs up, 66% of the votes.
What did I say earlier? I said a majority of people will go with thumbs up, even though I don't agree with them.
Oh, I thought you said it was the other way around.
Man, you're forgetting history.
Yeah, I am. And yeah, I wish
you give the show out of 10?
Ooh, I need some time. I wish I was drunk. I love how Tex just said
now.
Cora is drunker than any of us, and I'll tell you right now, I wish I was extremely blasted. Another Screaming Goat subscription. Holy shnikes. Emily Jakeway with the subscription. Thank you, guys. Thank you. 5 out of 10. It didn't. There wasn't enough there to make me excited. There wasn't enough there to like wow me, really. So, 5.
You're generous.
You're generous.
I am generous.
I'm going 3.5 for this.
Woo! I mean,
and I am joining you, Heather, because my God, were the lows fucking low. And the highs, well, there was one high.
And it wasn't me not for lack of trying.
You know what? I feel bad doing that because I think like visually this show, outside of the character models, is really good looking. It's an 8 out of 10 visually. Everything else is just so bad.
Yeah. Can't say it.
I mean, you know what? I'll give it a 4, not a 3.5.
Yay! It moved on up. But anyway,
what if this was good?
What if? Seriously. But anyway, that's going to do it for this installment of the Marvel Roundtable. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to the massive people for joining in the raid towards the end here of the stream. Appreciate it. Again, if you guys haven't subbed already, make sure you subscribe. Of course, we do the Marvel Roundtable almost every Monday. We do Gaming Night every Wednesday night here on this channel. Fridays, it's Horny Goat General Manager Mode, where we try to do different versions or each take over a different brand of WWE. We, of course, also do No Bucks Given every Saturday night, which is our rando podcast. And sometimes we sprinkle some random shit in between. Make sure you give love to Heather and Basement on their respective social medias, as well as here on this channel too. Make sure you love and heart, subscribe, fun, all that fun. I can't talk right now. I'm too overwhelmed by too much rating going on. Any last minute thoughts before we wrap up this Marvel Roundtable, Heather or Basement?
I am so glad I did not have to rewatch this, and I watched it closer to when all the episodes were finally released, and I just binge watched it while waiting for JP to get back from taking his dad to a doctor's appointment. If I had to rewatch this now after watching it, I would have picked up on so much more stuff, and I would have thrown the remote on the TV.
I think your nose is bleeding just from talking about it. Same thing, Basement.
I mean, I kid you not. I fell asleep twice watching this. and I had to like retread where I was. It's not good. Uh, it's really not. I'm not excited about the second season of it, though I'll probably end up watching it. Cause
Yeah, you will.
Yeah. Stop whipping me when people aren't watching.
Pistol whipping. Well,
yeah, it is what it is. Not
it
good.
is what if it is. That was horrible. That was a horrible fucking joke. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in for another edition of the Marvel Roundtable. When we return to the Marvel Roundtable, I believe next week, we will be going back to the big time. We'll be back into the movies as we explore the first full-length feature film of Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 4, but also go back in time as we explore the histories of both Yelena and Natasha Romanoff, answer what's up with the Red Room, and explore the origins of the Taskmaster as we take a look at the history that is Black Widow.